What's up? What's happening? This is Ninja Podcast. Welcome in. Welcome back. Glad to have you. If you're just finding us, thanks so much for checking it out. Of course, you guys can jump into our Facebook group, Ninjitsu Society, out there for you. Shout out to all the friends who have been jumping over from IANF. Really appreciate that. We've got great things happening in IANF. Check that out. That's the Independent American Ninjitsu Federation. Fired up for you guys recently. We've got some onboarding happening right now. A lot of outreach and bringing some recognition and some kind of hopefully new energy to this community here. And doing so kind of with that emphasis and embodying American ninjitsu, and I'm really excited about that. We've taken a kind of a huge turn recently with a lot of our content, so I appreciate folks who've been hanging in and getting going on with that. We've been cutting loose and letting some jokes fly, talking about our folks. I think it's fucking hilarious because we got this guy out there. You're probably not familiar with this guy. His name's Don. He's like a stalker of the show. But he now thinks that the entirety of the show is dedicated to hating him. It's just dedicated to hating him. It's like, bro, there's a song that's about that. There's a song that's like, you're so vain, you probably think this podcast is about you. Well, it's something like that. You know, about you, Don. See, now I can sing to Don because if he listens to the podcast, then it's like he has to listen to the fact that I'm like, Don, you can suck on my nuts. Suck on my nuts. Don. Like, you see what I'm saying? So it's like, he's stuck listening to that shit if he decides to listen to the podcast. So fuck all that. Jokes aside. I don't mind if you hate the podcast. I really don't. got a lot of folks who will hit me up and be like, I don't really know what's going on. What is this? What lineage are you? And I always have to laugh every time. So, look, I appreciate folks who do hit me up and wonder what's going on. But you guys might have noticed, I am not responding terribly quickly to one-off questions. I would be honest with you guys, fucking Google it. Fucking Google that shit yourself. Like, fucking Google it. You know, somebody hit me up, they're like, oh, well, you know, what is that really? You know, you're talking about this and that. What is that really? And it's like, well, go fucking do your research. Look, I'm not here to explain it all in the greatest detail. That's not my job, nor would I really claim that I have the ability to do so. You know, we bring on a lot of folks in the community who have spoken in the past on the show, and those folks are top-notch individuals to speak to in regards to, you know, very select topics, or, you know, let's really hone in on something specific. Bring in somebody, you know, who can just fucking let her rip in regards to that topic, and that's really what it's been about. So, as far as the show going in the future, I just don't care. If you clicked play and you chose to listen, this is what you fucking get. This doesn't have anything to do with ninjitsu. Well, hit stop. Just go away then. It cracks me the fuck up. So yeah, shows are gonna be fun. I'm looking forward to what we kind of got going on now. Do I really think that I'll be able to pump out like an hour show every day? Probably not. You know, probably not. But I don't know. We'll try and we'll see what goes on out there. There's a little bit of something happening every day in this community. There's no doubt. Every day something happens, you know, a little something here or there, or somebody releases something, or, you know, Bujinkan School pops out a video and, you know, gets laughed at or whatever happens there. They end up on McDojo again. And they get pissed. It happens a lot, though, in the ninjitsu community, where kind of what we're looking forward to is releases of things like scrolls or data that's about to be compiled and released by folks like Sean Askew or Anthony Cummins, or you know, a treasure trove of folks who actually kind of do dig in deeper and bring us some great information. But ultimately, there's, you know, it's not like there's anybody who's just going to pop out of the woodwork that's going to change the ninjitsu community in its entirety. Now, scrolls could do that. A scroll could do that. A scroll could show up. A scroll could show up. I'm picturing it almost like it's like a bill on Capitol Hill, except for it's a scroll that's going to fucking change everything you know. It's a scroll to make you slow your roll, except for the bill on Capitol Hill, right? Something like that. And the scroll shows up, and it's like, whoa, slow your roll. Everything you think you know, you know, is changing. It's changing. Now, I mean, I don't know if this is the case or not, but supposedly the new scroll that's kind of been gone through now, or being gone, you know, basically it's like it came out of storage in somebody's house. Like, it's like a family had this for, you know, whatever reason, and as they were kind of giving up these documents to the various, you know, museums and historical societies and what have you, you know, they come across this ninja scroll. So I think it's unique in that it's kind of roughly been stated that there are martial arts discussion or martial arts application or martial arts topic is discussed or is covered in the scroll, and to some capacity. Now, what this is it a description of a kick and a punch? I don't know yet. If you find out, hit us up or let me know, or share it into the IANF group or in a Ninjutsu Society, please. But ultimately, you know, do we know? We don't know. It could change everything. You know, ultimately, as far as that whole martial art, ninjutsu not being a martial art, everything could change. Everything could change.
Dating back to olden times, the lore of eternal life was always christened man's soul to do the unspeakable. This is a story of just that, the unspeakable.
So, other ninjutsu news, not much happening out there. Pretty basic stuff. New video releases from Mark Remke. Go check that out. That's available for you guys. That's Bujinkan TV. There's also Bujincast podcast. Recently they had on Christopher Carbonaro. Real cool stuff. A lot of those episodes are actually in Japanese as well. So if you guys are working on your linguistics, great way to practice and kind of listen into those conversations and have your way over there. And then there's been some cool stuff. Now, I know that there's a release soon to come out. I know Sean Aske's working on some stuff, but, you know, Anthony Cummins is also releasing his whole ninja book. It may have been out. It's coming out, but he released the Book of Samurai, and then, you know, the Book of Ninja, and then, you know, I remember back when he released the Bansen Shukai, the big orange thick one, and that was a really good release, in all honesty, because it was just, I mean, yeah, it had a lot of Anthony Cummins input, but it was kind of like a complete collection, if you will, Bansen Shukai, plus all the images, everything done up, you know, in a nice book form. And so I gotta really hand it to him for that, because if you guys can get your hands on Shonen-ki, Ninpiden, Bansen Shukai, ultimately, it's a great foundation, great starting point. Now, you're going to read the stuff, and some of it's just going to be chaotic, not make sense. It talks about troop movement and numbers of people and when to break into things and poems and various tools and yada yada. So it's really all over the place, but you're going to find that it's so kind of telling a truth in that this is an eclectic form. It's like an eclectic concept. Ultimately, it's, you know, everything comes together. So the various things that you may do in the various disciplines, and when I say disciplines, again, I'm referring to, like, you know, Tenman, Chiman, Taijutsu, you know, Bajutsu, Yarijutsu, Inyo, you know, understanding Suiren and these sorts of things. All these different 18 disciplines that I like to kind of say 18, because those are really kind of the best of all disciplines out there. But you'll look at these 18, and you really have something to train in indefinitely. It's not like you could run out of training material, because each one of these disciplines in themselves is an entire journey of itself. I mean, you know, Kenjutsu on its own. Wow, Kenjutsu, come on. I mean, there's a world of understanding sword concepts, you know, and then broadening what you know from not just, you know, katana and Japanese sword fighting concepts or kenjutsu concepts. You can, you know, move into kind of like medieval type sword wielding and that sort of thing. Now, I don't know jack shit when it comes to anything outside of, because I'll be honest with you, I know what I know in regards to how to wield a sword, you know, and that could be laughed at or made fun of or whatever. But, you know, in the situation where I would have to use a sword for the purpose of self-defense, there's something that kind of occurs, and I've talked about this with somebody, you know, is that if you have a sword anyway, you're kind of changing the entirety of the whole situation. It's not like people look at that sword and think, oh, I'm going to get up on that guy. Or, I'm going to fight this guy. Now, if they got a gun, yeah, they're going to shoot at you and stuff like that, but they're definitely not going to want to get close to you because, I mean, come on. You know, you see somebody with a sword, that's going to fuck your brain up. Even if you have a rifle, you're still going to be like, is that guy going to have a sword? You know? So, I think it's interesting because these disciplines really get you thinking. You know, they kind of make you move around and they shake up your kind of what you would consider just like, oh, I'm gonna study this basic discipline. You know, I'm gonna take Tenmon and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna look at the stars and I'm gonna follow the Big Dipper as it goes across, and I'm gonna you know, allow it to keep me in, you know, in like an eastern, you know, or a northern bound direction, you know, something like that. If you do these sorts of things, cool, you're engaged in it, but it's like, think of the limitless possibilities of each one of these. You know, I just giving you a basic of one, you know, you can really just dig. So it's kind of crazy to me because I ask the question a lot in the IANF group, and it's almost kind of like homework or something for me. Like, I'm just curious what people say. And I ask people all the time, what's your favorite discipline, or, you know, what discipline is the most valuable, or this and that. And I never actually hear, like, disciplines of ninjutsu from all the folks out there. Very rarely will somebody show up and be like, oh, you know, Suiren, you know, Kenjutsu, or, you know, Bajutsu, you know. It's crazy to me. It's always like the mind, you know. Techniques of understanding a discipline and following the master precisely. You know, just weird shit. So, you know, this kind of goes back to what I was saying the other day, and that is that it's the Facebook ninjutsu community is kind of full of people who don't really know what the fuck they're talking about at all. They don't know what the fuck they're talking about, and when they think they know what the fuck they're talking about, like, they are fucking so certain, and they'll just step out there and they'll say some of the dumbest shit, and it's like, okay. Like, I've had people come on the show, and because I'm asking them, like, hey, you know, what are your thoughts on ninjutsu? You know, this is an open conversation. And I always approach it as, you know, I don't know dick from shit, and because that makes way for the best conversations, because they're teaching me, I'm learning, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm asking questions to learn. So I'm always gonna approach the conversation from either a beginning practitioner's mindset or a no mind set. I don't know anything, and it makes some great conversations. But again, it also really exposes some of the folks that don't know what the fuck they're talking about. And it'll just be downright to weird stuff. Like, one guy kept saying Masaki Hatsumi. He's like, well, you know, Masaki Hatsumi is blah blah blah, and just, you know, the people that don't realize that Hatsumi is a grand master and a true ninja, in you know, he's bloodline. And I was just like, I was almost kind of like, I was just letting him go, and I'm like, and, you know, and he's going off, and, you know, and I'm like, okie dokie, you know, and Masaki, and I'm just like, he gets, you know, and we're done, and I'm like laughing, I'm like, bro, I should have corrected him. I couldn't have published, I mean, I think I published that show, but I think I pulled it back down, because I listened back to it, and I'm like, I can't let this happen. Like, I can't let people who are gonna act like they know what the fuck they're talking about just run their fucking mouths. Because when they say shit, then you're like, okay. Now, don't get me wrong. I've had people say to me, they're like, you mispronounce ninjutsu every time you fucking say it. And I'm like, it may be the case, but I'm not in, a Japanese conversation with you guys where we're just, oh, ninjutsu. I'm not going to say it real quick like ninjutsu. It is, yes. Like if I'm talking to you, yada yada ninjutsu, yes. Then I would say it, but ninjutsu, however it is that you say it, it's just gonna come out. Again, Americanized, like hamburger. You know what I'm saying? We're just kind of doing it. Pizza. Pizza. This is another way for us to kind of break free and say again, like, folks might say this, hey, look, I'm really recommending you don't jack up names. If you could not jack up names, that'd be great. But hey, if you're out there and you're talking about techniques and you sound like a redneck and you're like Shoshi no Kamai and Ichimunji no Kamai. This is Jodan no Kamai now. Put that sword over your head, okay? Now, Kasumi no Kamai. Now, it's going to be funny because, it's going to happen. American rednecks are going to pronounce things kind of American rednecky. I'm not going to fault them for that. But again, get names right. Don't say Masaki. it's Masaaki. Masaaki Hatsumi. Now, look here's something important. I don't care anymore. This is something that I got to put out there because I've had a lot of people bail. They say, I can't listen to you anymore, John. You said Masaaki was a fraud, a couple days ago. Look, I can't play this bullshit game anymore. I don't want to lie. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to sit here and pretend like I don't think that because I do. I do. Like, I don't believe this stuff. I'm sorry, guys. Takamatsu may have been a great dude, and what he taught Masaaki may have been wonderful, and that's fantastic. And they had a great idea, and they've really impressed the world with their wonderful display of martial arts applications as taught by very specific people. But what they're claiming and where they're claiming that it comes from can't be proven. It can't be proven, beyond the shadow of a doubt. I mean, there's little bits of facts that you can get that'll help maybe paint the picture that it could be truth, but it's alleged, and there's really nobody that can change that. I'm sorry. It's just the fact of the matter because look, at the end of the day, Takamatsu made some shit up, guys. Look, he made some shit up back in the day, 1940, 1920, 1930, what have you. But, it goes to say, again, the restoration of what was happening with martial arts across the board in Japan. They knew what they had on their hands was marketable. They knew this because Westerners were eating it up over the course of decades, man. My goodness, it was like as if anything that came from, the back then they would have called it the Orient, which you don't say that now, but back then, anything that would have come over, it'd be like collectible, these people in the prairie in America and that sort of thing. That was like the far off culture, and embodied in ancient, ways and that sort of thing. I mean, it was just mind-blowing to some of the folks. So yeah, you're always going to have that element of, kind of mystery and it's just so deep in culture and just rich, lush Japanese culture. I mean, yeah, but what Americans did throughout the next 100 years was, in a sense, make it their own like they do everything else. That's how we do. We make everything our own. We show up and we take that shit. That's terrible. I shouldn't joke about that shit. But it's true. But the fact is, as it goes, as Americans, what we're digging into is the shit that we've been checking out for, a good 30, 40 years, a lot of us. And I mean, don't get me wrong. I think it's great that it comes from Japan, or that folks are going to take their little tour travel trips to Japan and, hang out and do the throwing star, seminar lines and do all that shit that they want to do. Go stand in lines for all these various ninja things. That's totally cool. But when I talk to the folks here in the United States and we talk about what we're all training in, studying, sharing, and kind of exploring, it just doesn't, it's not the same shit, dude. It's just not the same shit because, again, it's like, you know, tabby are great. You want to wear tabby, you want to do your thing, but I'm not going to be wearing tabby, you know. Karate gis are great. You know, I like training in martial arts in my gi. You know, I wear my gi a lot, but there's some times where training in ninjutsu doesn't require a gi, you know, because you're training in stealthing concepts, or you're training in, you know, weird espionage things that you and your friends are digging in on at that point. You know, you built a ladder and you're doing group movements, or, you know, you're trying new things. You know, I always want to encourage you guys, try the wild shit, you know, like horseback riding, you know, bajutsu, etc. You know, archery, you know, really dig in and do some wild stuff, because that's when the fun really starts, man. If you guys kind of limit yourself to thinking that, oh, you know, this is a martial art and I got to do this black belt dance and yada yada, you're really just gonna, you're just gonna kind of shortcut yourself, or you know, shortchange yourself, really, and you're gonna take a lot of your own money. You're gonna lose money. You're going to lose a lot of time, and the benefit at the end, again, guys, these certifications, these black belts, I mean, look at the people, you know, that have them. Just a large majority of a lot of those ninja guys, you know, Bujinkan guys in particular, I don't see qualities within them that it's nothing I want to be a part of. I don't dig it. It's nothing that I would want to be. I don't see it. Now, again, it's kind of a shitty thing, because I do have to throw a shout out to some of the Bujinkan guys out there. You know, I really do. And I think they're great people, and what they do is awesome. And there's, you know, there's great organizations within the Bujinkan, but I'm sorry, guys, I got to kind of put it out there, and this is how it kind of goes from now on. I'm not like a Bujinkan supporter. I don't really dig it. I'll be honest with you guys. I'm actually kind of the opposite. I'm kind of to the point nowadays where it's like, I almost would rather kind of see it start to dissipate here in the United States. I'd like to see folks kind of focus on what we've got here in the States, keeping our money in the United States, you know, honestly building something real, a real business, tangible, brick and mortar location, you know, sell products, you know, get people in, offer courses, do more. You know, get involved, take people camping, do cool shit, build the adventure in what ninjutsu practitioners should truly be doing. You know, we're so cut short by a lot of this Heian martial arts shit, and I'm sorry, but I'm pointing the finger and I'm blaming the Bujinkan, bro. Like, it's that Masaki's fault. That Masaki's got everybody doing goddamn Shoshino my here. I'm trying to do American Jiu-Jitsu, right? It's not at all what I'm going for, but you get my picture, right? You get the gist. You get the gist, man. So yeah, let's throw the shout outs. It's that time. It is that time again. Now, I haven't had anybody hit me up for shout outs. I did have Jamie Hassett hit me up a while back. So guys, go check out Shinobi Enterprises. They've been going through the ringer, man. They've had a lot of shit go down, and it'd be really helpful if you guys go get some shit from Shinobi Enterprises. They got shuriken, they got nunchucks, they got swords, they got all that good shit. Go get some. Pick up some cool shit, and tell them John sent you. Buy some shit from Shinobi Enterprises. Go buy their shit. That's how advertisements go. Yeah, you know, go buy some shit. Go check it out. Ninja Podcast. So yeah, man, look at it this way. We're having fun now. You know, again, breaking free. The show's broke free. I don't give a shit. It's a lot of fun this way. Smoking weed together, hanging out, talking about real shit. Talked about this the other day. I thought it was kind of cool. It was talking about concealing. You know, there's a whole discipline dedicated to the art of concealment. I can't think of it off the top of my head. Shows what I know. That guy doesn't know dick from shit. But I'm telling you now, guys, when you're talking about concealing, and it came up because, you know, all of us, I cut the joke that, you know, most of the potheads are the truest form of ninja because we've had to, like, you know, hide things and gather the information and figure out where the things are and make the drops, make the pickups, plan the things. You know, very shinobi-esque in a lot of the planning and little bit of espionage going on, a little bit of subterfuge, sneaking past. Hey, even sometimes maybe you had to, you know, like walk past guards or you know, the old 5-0. You know what I'm saying? You never know. Having prior been 5-0, I know what that's like. But it's kind of funny because there's totally a truth there, and you know, like kind of the old school kids, and you know, high school potheads and on, you know, from the 90s, 80s even still, you know, some of you older guys, but 90s for me, and you know, and then 2000s and on. It's interesting, man. It really is, because you know, we tend to want to conceal. We gotta like hide our little stash. We gotta keep stuff. And so I've been talking about how ninja in particular, like there needs to be like a line of clothing. Like we need to get this going, guys. Us ninja here, maybe somebody in the IANF, maybe somebody in Shinobi, or I'm sorry, in Ninjutsu Society can help get this going. But guys, we need hoodies with conceal pockets, you know, like pants with little conceal pockets. But they need to be like purpose size. You know what I'm saying? We need to do some extra effort and measure some things so that way, like, you know, a pocket that's also padded with inside, you know, like a plastic interior to the pocket, so that way you can, you know, slide some like shuriken in there or something like that. You know, I'm like recommending people carry shuriken, all kinds of weird fucked up shit. Legal disclaimer: don't do any of this. But for real, think about it, you know, because you can't just like slide the shuriken in your pocket. There's got to be like, you know, a protective layer there or something that's a little thicker. Maybe even like that, you know, like military grade canvas, you know, could probably do something. But I mean, even that shit over time breaks, or you know, with those fucking spikes and points and shit like that. So I mean, shuriken, you know, bow shuriken, throwing spikes, you know, it could be inserted somewhere, or like, you know, on the arms or some shit like that of a hoodie. Really cool shit like that is really kind of where I'm coming from, you know. And then like, you know, including the hoods and the masks and all that stuff in the clothing, gauntlets and that sort of thing, like purposed gauntlets, you know, for kind of urban use. You know what I'm saying? These hold your cell phone, your wallet, your things, and they're like kind of tightly kept. That way you got shit underneath them where your forearms are, and then you got like a protective layer on the outside. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you know, we can use some like ABS and some shit out there, you know, fucking. You feeling me on this? Like, you know, all-purpose urban ninja survival gear, you know, by us, you know, like for us, by us, but ninja shit, you know, like ninja, like Nubu, ninjas us, by us, ninja shit for us, by us, Nisfubu. I'm not good at marketing, okay, obviously. I mean, I named my fucking podcast Ninja Podcast, so you guys might have to come up with some of the names and some of the shit like that. But are you feeling me? Are you feeling me on this? So let's get creative. If you guys got some great ideas out there that you want to kind of share within the ninjutsu community, hit me up. You know, I'd love to bring you on the show, get talking about that. We have Edo from Samurai Legends that always jumps on. He's got great publications out there. He's a manga comic book guy. He's got great stuff that he's writing, 3-4 books, I think, out there now. So definitely check that out, Samurai Legends. And, you know, like him, he's involved in the community. He's pumping out great content, great marketing scheme. And I want to help. You know what I'm saying? I want to be part of that. So guys, if you got some great ideas out there in the ninjutsu community, hit me up, and let's share it up. Let's spread it up. Let's spread it up. Listen up, Don. I want you to spread it up a little bit, if you know what I'm saying, big guy. I'm going to give Don so much shit, because I just don't even fucking care anymore. I have to laugh because they keep going. I just assume that every day there's going to be a post that, you know. But it's like, this is like the third day in a row. I'm like, do I even want to go look? I'm like, I know it's going to be there by some point. So it was like about an hour or so ago. I went and looked, and sure enough. So, you know what? I'm just going to let you guys do your thing. Just keep on. Just keep on talking about it. Have fun with it. Enjoy it. I do have to laugh, though, because there are some great twists and turns out there right now. So you guys hold on to your hats, because one of these days it's going to be fucked up. We're all going to jump online and we're all going to be like, wait, what's the news? And it's going to be some big news. And that big news is going to be kind of big news and kind of into the game, into the line for many in this case. There's no beating around the bush. There's a lot of criminal activity, weird criminal activity taking place. People mailing weird death threats to one another. Weird shit out there in regards to, just heinous involvement in heinous acts. Big names in the Bujinkan being exposed. It's fucking nuts. It is fucking nuts. And, it's not like the martial arts community is going to be free from this sort of thing. I mean, every community, every fucking sport, everything has garbage people that do bullshit and stupid shit and fuck up the name of said sport or, activity for the rest of everybody involved. But in this case, it's just, there's so many egos out there and so many folks who are just obsessed with the idea that, people need to follow them, pay attention to them. That obsession turns into, a hatred towards everyone who, they see as could be potentially, get somebody whose content may do a little bit better, or somebody who might be a little bit more funnier, or be a little bit more attractive, or or anything in that. They get jealous, they throw their hatred around. It's sad and pathetic. But look, in the ninjutsu community, guys, we will persevere. There will be an end to this, and I'm going to tell you guys right now, there's so many weird kind of goings-ons behind the scenes. Several investigations underway right now, a few that I know about, and just in regards to a few people. It's not just like one, you guys think I'm talking about one guy, but several people right now. It's just so crazy, the dirt and the shit that I've been hearing, because I talk to everybody, guys. I fucking talk to everybody. They a lot of these guys out there who think that they're some kind of, fucking guru in the ninjutsu community or in martial arts in general. I've talking to everybody, and I've spoken to everybody kind of in the circle around them, and I am talking to many of the people that they know. I mean, for fuck's sake, we had Phil Elmore on the podcast a couple weeks ago, so there comes a point where there is reckoning. There comes to a point where there is the eventual collapse, or the climax. It happens. Oh, the climax. It's fucked, but keep an eye on it, guys, because there's going to be a couple key figures out there. You are going to watch these people fall hard. And they are not going to be able to recover from what's about to happen to them. Several of them. It's a bummer, but this community just deserves so much better than these panhandling frauds. Paper mill pushing assholes. Self-righteous pricks, man. And this community can do without. We can do without. Now, they want to keep their little friend circle jerks and all that shit. Whatever. Again, and I talked about that in the episode the other day. I don't need to beat this, dead horse, but I'm telling you now, until you even look that direction, nobody knows that shit's occurring. So, again, they could say everything they want on their Facebook page or within their group or on their various blogs that they may have. But I'm going to tell you now, and I said this the other day, guys, look, we all die, man. We're all flesh and blood. And do you really want to go out being the town dickhead? Being that guy who did nothing but, hate and frustrate and confuse and, just consume people with negativity. It's sad. It's very sad. So change your ways out there. Smoke some weed. Chill the fuck out with me on Ninja Podcast regularly. Do that shit. Jump into Ninjutsu Society. This toke is for you, Don Rowley. Because you need to chill the fuck out, sugar buns. That guy's got no ass. I doubt at all that dude's got an ass. That dude's probably built like a beanpole. It's probably why his wife left him. Oop, sorry about that. Try not to blow into the mic. Now, still got this homegrown, but it's been it's dried out a couple more days here, so it's actually gotten a bit more potent as it's started to dry out. So that's kind of neat. And I also like these vape cartridges. I don't know if you guys use the vape cartridges, but the vape is great. I love the little vape pens, little dab pins and that shit. Now they do have all the products like butter and, earwax, buds, flour rather. You get anything you want from these dispensaries, but I do kind of dig the convenience of these cartridges. I'm a hitter rod kind of guy, you know what I mean? Looks like hitter rod, onesie, little single hit, bat, all kind of, I've heard people kind of, metal joint. If you're from the UK, oh yeah, I got metal joint, all right. A metal joint? What the fuck are you talking about? Yeah, you metal joint, right? Yeah. And then they say stuff like, flip your nug, mate. Flip my what? Flip your nug. You get flip the nug. Like, and they'll hand you your pipe back, tell you to, like, flip the bowl over, like, flip everything over. Flip the nug, mate. And you're like, wait, what? Flip your nug. Flip your nug. This dude kept saying it. I'm like, what? Flip your nug. I don't know what you were saying. And he's like, rips the bowl out of my hand and, like, stirs everything up and hands it back to me. He's like, now smoke it, you fucking twit. And I'm like, oh, I got you. Flip the nug. He's like, yes, I said, flip the nug, all right? Like you like dags? Like that type of shit. So, that's kind of neat. I think that's another thing, too. I want to talk about this. You guys got to kind of be open to all kinds of different folks. Look, some of the greatest times that I've fucking had have been hanging out with people that aren't from, America. They, we don't share the culture. They're asking questions and shit. Like, they didn't know what the fuck concentrated frozen juice was and shit. These one New Zealand guys that were hanging out with me. These dudes from New Zealand, it's like they're a band. And they're traveling through, and we were actually doing some recording and shit at my studio, so super badass. They happened to crash land in Leroy, of all places, where I was staying and running my studio. So we hung out. We actually chilled for several weeks while these guys were off, their different tour dates and that. And so we're hanging out, chilling out, smoking weed, drinking, chilling, and these dudes are super badass. And the shit that they didn't know, like we're going to Arby's, and they just thought it was fucking insane that you could get 5 items for $6 from Arby's, and and then they're like, these roast beef sandwiches are mean as. They'd say everything's as mean as. Oh man, these are good as. And you're like, good as what? You're like, good as fuck. And you're like, oh. But they just don't say they don't say the fuck part. They just say as. So it's like good as. They kept fucking me up with that shit. Oh, bro, man, that was good as. Oh, that was mean as. This weed is good as. I'm like, good as what, man? It's like open-ended sentences. But so anyways, that's how the New Zealanders were talking about everything. But yeah, we were all thirsty because we're all hiring shit. And we're thirsty, so I'm like, yeah, man, I'll go, to the freezer. I got frozen juice, and he's like, frozen juice? How are we gonna drink frozen juice? So I'm like, no, we don't drink the frozen juice. Like, I'm gonna make juice with the frozen concentrate. And they're like, what do you have to concentrate on, man? Like, I don't understand. What is it hard? Is it hard to do? So you have to concentrate? And I'm like, what the fuck? You guys are fucking me up so bad. Because, first off, we're all stoners, so they don't know. But it's like, I'm like, look, come with me. I pull a can of juice out. It's a frozen concentrate can. All of you guys know what the fuck I'm talking about, but these dudes is like blow their fucking mind. And there's like 6 of us in the kitchen, you know, because it's like a 5-piece band and it's me. And they're like, bro, we can't all drink that. And I'm like, bro, it's like, listen, you gotta fuck. So like, you know, I'm like squeezing it out of the can and shit. And they're like, bro, it's fucking frozen. And I'm like, just shut the fuck up, you guys. You know, I'm like mixing in water and like stirring it and shit. So now I got a big pitcher of juice. And these guys' fucking minds were just blown because they were like, oh my fucking God, like you just made an entire pitcher of juice out of a frozen can. And I'm like, yeah, now we all have juice, but you just add water. And they were just like, their fucking minds were blown. And so they kept asking me, bro, do you got any more of that frozen juice, mate? Like, for fucking, they were there, you know, because these dudes were hanging out for like a month. Hey, man, you got any more of that frozen juice, mate? Fucking hell, that shit was so funny. So anyway, my point of this, you know, bullshit rant is that, dude, you gotta be down to kind of just have fun with the fact that people don't know what the fuck you're talking about or don't know something, you know. That becomes fun. That's something that the generation here upcoming, it's like, if you don't know something or you haven't heard the slang word or you don't know something, you're not just like not cool. It's like you don't exist. You know what I'm saying? Like you're not a real person to them. That's dangerous shit for these young folks because they're alienating each other right and left. I watch this shit because, well, number one, you know, number one, it's like I have daughters myself. You know, I was a foster parent for about a year, 3 years back, or 2 years back now, rather, almost 3. And during that year, you know, I mean, fuck, dude, she was in 7th, 8th grade. It was like just the drama, you know, the drama that these kids have because TikTok, apps, Facebook, oh my God, you name it, dude. These kids are in it and they like live that shit. They're, oh my God, help these kids. Please, Lord, help these kids. They are just all caught in a world of nonsense in the screens. 5-second reels being thrown at them all the time. They have no attention span. I mean, it's just boom, 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 boom. Makeup video, dance video, this thing, you know, crash video, you know, laugh about this video is scary, you know, this kid, it was sad, devastated, this person's greatest thing ever, you know, send money to this lady who lost her job. Everything that these kids are just watching, boom, 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 and it's nonstop all the time. I told Jen the other day, because I was like, what are you doing? And she's like, oh, I'm watching reels on Facebook. And I was like, bro, you gotta be careful with this shit. You'll look at the clock and it'll have been like a fucking hour, and you're like, holy shit, I've been watching reels for like an hour. Like, it's fucked up nowadays. And these kids, you know, and I hate to sound like this, but these kids are just wrapped up in that shit. So look, if you got the young ones, I'm going to highly recommend get them involved in martial art. Get them involved in anything. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu classes, karate, taekwondo, hapkido, anything. Get the kids involved. It's like swimming, guys. You're considering it to swimming. Anybody should know how to swim. It's like anybody should take swimming lessons. But swimming can also be to the point of where you can go win a medal, an Olympic medal, or 50,000 medals like fucking Stonerhead guy. You know, I can't think of his name, but let's think of it this way. You know, yeah, swimming can go from as simple as just learning how to do it for your safety, so that way if you fall in a lake, you know how to swim out, you know, all the way up to the level of competition, you know, grandiose stages of swimming can be, you know what I mean? It's so swimming. All right. Now, martial art, same thing. The very entry level, you know, very basics, you should know these things because, hey, you never know. You might fall into the lake out there if you catch my drift. You know, you could find yourself in a situation that's dangerous. You need to protect yourself. This could happen, and it's very true in that swimming and martial arts, very similar. You should get those kids involved in younger ages. That way they're more equipped and just, like, been around it. It's familiar territory. These are things that are very important. And as well, guys, these are building blocks for ensuring that you have integrity in there with the kid. You know, courage and a willingness to stand up for themselves. That'll be developed. that'll be developed. So look at it like that. It's, you would hate for your kids to go through life without swim classes, fall into the lake. I would hate for the kids out there to go through life without martial arts classes and be approached by somebody and not know what to do. So very real stuff out there, guys. So, you got the kids. Get them involved in something, guys. Get them out there. Get them active. Get them in a ninjutsu program, hopefully of sorts. Keep it in the Ninja Fam. Ninja Clan sticks together. Ninja Fam, Ninja Clan. But ultimately, yeah, guys, let's throw that shout out to the folks out there, keeping it going, generations at a time. That's great stuff. All right, we're going to wrap this one up, guys. First off, I appreciate everybody who has been checking it out. These last shows have just kind of been long for the shit of it, just because. I may or may not be around for tomorrow. I don't know. Friday, Saturday, Sunday are great days to get content out there. I will be honest. But you never know. I might get into some other shit or want to do something else. But guys, I do appreciate folks who've been jumping in and getting involved. It's great. Again, jump over to Ninjutsu Society. Check it out. Come hang out with me and the IANF. Join up. We got great stuff going on there for you guys. Again, just to recap, it's a group. It's a place to hang. But as well, guys, we're going to kind of set the standard here. Certification through IANF requires federal background checks. We investigate and assess the, kind of ability, or rather the availability of things such as insurances, brick and mortar locations, product sales, and services rendered. We assess and recommend or not recommend based off what we find. But again, that certification requires those checkpoints, and we're the only organization currently in the U.S. that I know of, correct me if I'm wrong, that does such a thing in order for its members to be verified. So, hang out with us at IANF as the group builds, as we slowly crawl in the numbers. We got a great 5,000 people hanging out, plus 5,000, almost 5,700 folks in the group. Help it go up and up. Invite everybody, hang out and chill in there and jump in on the conversations, guys, and create more with IANF. And if you want to get involved, just reach out to me. We've got some great stuff coming up. If you guys want to be part of our competitions, seminars, etc., love to have you get further involved. If you guys have questions about marketing or you want to get involved with us here, get your product or your school talked about here, and Ninja Podcast, hit me up, let you know how to do just that. Real simple stuff, easy peasy. And I'd love to work with you guys one-on-one. Speaking of one-on-one, let's just dedicate this last couple seconds to the mighty BSMA. I noticed that their group has a lot of new people, tons of new people. They picked up like 1,000 new people, and they're losing their grip because it's just all kinds of bullshit's getting shared in there. And somebody was wondering how it is that all the admins are related to Bujinkan and how it's considered bullshit martial arts group, but it's ran by bullshit martial artists. And that person, well, they weren't happy with that person. All the comments were like, meh. I noticed the dude's still hanging out. So shout out to that guy. Way to fucking rage against the machine, my bro. Fucking keep doing that shit. But yeah, no, sad for them, sad day. Those that don't care are great, and those that do care are dwindling. And as far as it goes with the rest of these folks, it's fucking beat a dead horse again. Who even gives a shit anymore? I know I don't. I don't give no fucks. So guys, hit me up. We'll be back. Ninja Podcast, that's what the fuck's going on. Appreciate your time. Have yourself a great rest of your night. Peace out.